Portable blenders are a growing trend. From Ninja's original Blast to the Cuisinart Evolution X, there are all kinds of reasons we might want to have a blender with us. Whether you like making a smoothie after your workout or blending a salad dressing at the office, portable blenders can be incredibly handy. The downside to portable blenders is often they're less powerful than their full-size counterparts and they have limited battery life. And now with Ninja revealing its brand new Blast Max, have all the potential kinks of a portable blender now been worked out? In this review, I'm going to get hands-on with the Blast Max, and I'll try it out with a handful of different blending tasks, from making smoothies and shakes to salad dressings and even crushing ice. I'll show you exactly how it works, what it's good for and what it's not, and I'll wrap things up with both the pros and the cons, so I'll let you know if I think I can recommend this portable personal blender for you. I would like to say thank you to Ninja for sending me this blender to test and review. While the company has provided it to me at no cost, it hasn't asked for or received any permission to have input into my review, so you can consider these thoughts on my own. Blast Max is Ninja's second-generation portable personal blender with some power upgrades and other improvements, and the changes do put it at a slightly higher price point. Last year I reviewed the original Blast, and it mostly served its purpose as a light, reliable blender you can take with you. Ninja Blast Max is actually a significant upgrade from the original, and Ninja's engineers went right back to the drawing board. The key change is that the blending cup is now removable from the base. In the original Blast, the blending base formed the bottom of the cup, so if you were going to take it with you, you had to take the whole blender. With the new design, you can separate the cup from the motor, which not only saves space, but weight as well, and fully assembled, the new device weighs about 2.5 pounds. The new blending cup is also 20% bigger with a larger 22-ounce capacity compared to original Blast's 18 ounces. As for performance, a larger base here means Ninja was able to cram in a more powerful motor, and that additional power means new charging. Now with a proprietary pin connector, the charging port also now has a silicone cover. Ninja also redesigned the lid to make it a little smaller and nicer for sipping, and added a flexible silicone carrying loop, which is much easier to use than its predecessor. The price has also increased with the new version. Ninja still sells the original Blast for about $60 US or 70 Canadian, while the Max version costs $90 US or 120 Canadian. Unlike the single blend button on the original Blast, Blast Max gives you 3 options. There's Smoothie, Crush, and Blend. In truth, most of the programs are kind of the same. They seem to have a different duration of blending with pauses in between to let ingredients settle a bit for remixing. When it comes to the performance of this device, I tried it out on a variety of different blending tasks. The first outing was a frozen fruit smoothie. For this, I used the smoothie setting and followed the recommendations from Ninja to properly layer things in the cup. You need to add the liquid in first and make sure it hits the minimum fill line. Fresh fruits go in next, followed by leafy greens. Dry or sticky ingredients like seeds, protein powders, and nut butters go next, and you would finish with ice or frozen ingredients like fruit. Blast Max did a pretty good job of blending my smoothie to a nice consistency with only a few small frozen chunks left after the cycle was finished. I solved this problem by shaking the cup up a bit and then running a second blend cycle and got a very smooth and creamy result. I tried Blast Max on salad dressing. This is actually a great device for making dressings and dips in the kitchen. It was easy to get all the ingredients into the cup and then give it a quick blend, and I ended up with a wonderfully smooth and whipped consistency. It also easily tackled some herbs and shallots for a rice dish. Next, I decided to try crushing ice for frozen drinks. I couldn't find specific instructions for how to do this, so I followed the smoothie program where I added some liquid into the base and ice on top. The blender actually did a pretty good job of crushing the ice, but after a certain point, the ice kind of became jammed in the cup and really only the liquid at the bottom was spinning around. I tried shaking it up as Ninja suggests for loosening stubborn ingredients, but the ice had formed kind of a frozen stopper in the middle of the container. When I tried to pour it out, it all came out as one messy frozen iceberg. I decided to rerun my test without any liquid and do just the ice, but this time it left lots of big ice chunks behind. After playing around with this for making frozen drinks, I found the kind of sweet spot was to crush the ice a little bit first, then add my liquids, then rerun a full blending cycle. I'd say frozen drinks like slushes or margaritas are probably the drink that is made least effectively in this machine. What I found with smaller personal blenders like this is that they do require a little bit of finesse and maybe some help from you. You may need to shake up the ingredients inside the blender to help the blender loosen and incorporate them a little more thoroughly, and possibly even run a second blending cycle. Now, this is not necessarily a downside or a problem, just a necessary part of owning a smaller device like this. When it comes to charging and battery life, gone is the handy USB-C charging port, and it's been swapped for an AC-powered barrel plug. I'd imagine the larger battery in this device and the bigger motor is just too much for a basic USB-C port charge, but it may seem like a bit of a downgrade for folks who like to charge in their car or using a backup battery pack. Ninja also notes the adapter is 110 volts, which means you can't charge it abroad. Ninja refuses to say on its website exactly how long the battery should last, suggesting only the number of blends per charge depends on how often you blend and what you're blending, and that its best practices are to charge your motor base after each use to ensure you always have enough to get you through your day. Now, after using this device for about a week, I found I was able to get about 4 full blends out of my device before the battery started to give me a low warning light, and 7 full uses before the battery died completely. There are a few ways to clean the device. You can fill it with about 6 ounces of water and a drop of dish soap and just run a blend cycle. You can also take the bottle off the base and hand wash it in the sink. And in another big improvement, you can put both the lid and the cup on the top rack of your dishwasher for easy cleaning. And it's now easier to wipe the base clean if you need to, since it has that silicone covering over the charging port. The original version didn't have a cover like this, and because the motor base had to stay connected to the cup at all times, it was actually quite a challenge to clean. Overall, Ninja has made some smart improvements to the Blast Max. Let's go over both the pros and the cons so you can see if it might be an ideal solution for you. On the pro side, the number one improvement I was happiest to see is that the blending cup is now detachable from the base and it's a smidge larger. This makes the whole thing easier to tote around. The design improvements also make it far easier to clean. The blender is quite effective at making smoothies and shakes, and it's infinitely handy in the kitchen for blending up things like dressings and dips. While I struggled to get it to make frozen drinks, with some persistence and practice, it is possible. So what are the potential downsides? I did find the ice crushing was the most challenging task for this blender, and the fact that Blast Max requires a special plug does limit its portability a little unless you remember to bring that plug along. No more reaching for a USB-C you probably already have laying around. The battery life isn't super long, but at about 7 uses per charge, it doesn't seem unreasonable considering all the other pluses. In short, the Ninja Blast Max is quite powerful and very handy for both small blending jobs in the kitchen and for taking on the go. I like the new design improvements, and I can definitely recommend it for you. Ninja Blast Max sells for about $90 US or $120 Canadian, and you can get it from Ninja directly or from electronics retailers including Amazon. And if you want to check out how the original Blast works, you can see that review right now, or see what Cuisinart's portable blender is like right now.